Hey guys, Jeff here with Fat Kids Barbecue. Welcome back to another episode. So, not every day in New England, well, I should take that back. That's kind of like a dumb comment. We have deer all over the place. But, not every day you find ground venison in the grocery store. So, I went out, picked this up, I saw it and I said, what can I make? Venison chili? Now I make chili all the time. And I kind of like that chuck roast chili that I made. Look down below there and where all those other videos are and you can see that one. What can I make with venison? Meatballs? Nah, I've got that down there too. Made those with turkey and wrapped them in bacon. Delicious. Bet you this would be good that way too. So I decided, why not make a venison meatloaf? So I went on the interweb and I found this wonderful recipe. Tells you everything to put in it except the venison. So I'm going to guess 2 pounds of venison, so I bought 2 packages. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow the recipe along because this is a first one for me. We're going to cut up this onion here. We don't need all of it because those of you who watch my videos, you know I'm not a big fan of the onion. So, easiest way to peel an onion, cut it, and look at that. Your outer layer just comes right off in your hand. Makes it real simple. And you don't have to cry when you cut it. So, all peeled, ready to go. That was easy. You notice my cutting board is sliding a little bit. A trick that I learned years ago is you could put a towel underneath it and that'll hold it in place. And I didn't do that this time. We don't have a lot of knife work, so we'll just hold it firm. There we go. We want to dice this up nice and small. Because again, I'm not a fan of the onion. But what I do use is I'll use a sweet onion when need be. So we'll start with that. We'll push this guy to the side. Now the recipe calls for 2 bricks, not eggs. Put two golf balls in here that wouldn't break on the pan. That was kind of funny. 1 can of 8 ounces of tomato sauce. Put that in there. Slide that off to the side. And then we're going to put our next thing in, which is 1 cup of dried breadcrumbs. So that looks good. It's calling for 1 medium onion. I think I chopped up a little more than a medium onion. So that's all we're going to put in. Just about that much right there. Don't be afraid to wash your hands while you're cooking. Now it's calling for 1½ teaspoons of salt. So we'll put this in. You want to measure it? Be my guest. And this one's kind of funny. 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. Is that an eighth? That looks like more like an eighth to me. Now it wants 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. That looks pretty good. Now 2 tablespoons of brown mustard. We'll eyeball it. 1. That's about right. Right there, that looks pretty good. That looks good. Now, 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Never heard of putting white vinegar in a meatloaf. Now I will put this recipe down below. There's 1 tablespoon. There's 2. Let's see what it does, right? Why not? So now, wants us to mix this thing up. And blend this all together. It still hasn't told me that I should put the ground venison in. But now that this is all mixed together, I think we'll do that. We'll cut open our package here. And drop this right down in. Boy, that's good. Whoops. We always get a runner. It's kind of funny. There we go. Perfect. Now, it's time to get our hands in here and mix this thing together. So move that out of the way. One thing I did do is I got out one of these cookie trays. What we're going to do is we're going to make our meatloaf. We're going to mix this all together. The venison in our meatloaf mix. And that's smelling really good. Boy, does that smell delicious. So we'll mix it all together. And then we're going to form a nice loaf out of it. You don't want to over mix, because then you're turning this into mush. You don't necessarily need to have mush. So we'll take that guy. It's a little bit soft. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the refrigerator. We're going to put this loaf right into the refrigerator, and we're going to let it sit in the refrigerator for the next probably, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, so that it sets up a little. It'll be easier to get onto the tray here and then onto the Traeger. Today we're cooking on the Traeger. We have the Traeger warming up. It's going to be at 275 degrees, maybe even 300, and we're going to cook this for probably about an hour. And we want this to reach a temperature of about 165 degrees. So anytime you're working with ground meat of any sort, you want to get it out of that temperature danger zone so that you don't kill yourself. So, all right, guys, we'll let this rest for a little bit, and then we'll get it out on the Traeger. All right, guys, so it's been about a half an hour, and we let our meatloaf form. The Traeger's warmed up to 325 degrees. We're cooking with some pecan wood. It's time to get this bad boy out there. We let this guy settle nice. Well, now that's one heck of a meatloaf. Look at that guy. That is spectacular. All right, we'll get this guy right out onto the Traeger. All right, guys, so we're outside at the Traeger. It's a little bit dark out here, so I don't know how much you can see, but you'll have to believe me on this. What I did is I put the meatloaf in right on the cookie tray. It's gonna make it a lot easier to take it off later. One thing I did do is I took some Pam and I sprayed down the cookie tray so our meatloaf hopefully won't stick to it. All right, we're gonna shut this thing down because if you're looking, you ain't cooking. Yeah, I said that. All right, guys, so we're back in the kitchen. We went outside to the Traeger and our meatloaf hit an internal temperature of 160 degrees. So we decided it was time to bring it inside the house, put it into the kitchen, take a look at it inside and see how we did. So looking at this guy, boy, does this look beautiful. 161 degrees is the internal temperature of this guy. This is gonna make for one heck of a dinner. Let's see how we did. This is always my favorite part of the cook. Well, you can see the steam coming off this thing. This is just on the end. Oh my God. Wow. Wow, does that taste good. That is unbelievable. That's amazing. Simply amazing. Alright guys, if you like what you see, please click that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell thing so you can see what we're cooking next. Oh my goodness. That's delicious.